Welcome into the Legislative Lounge. We are your hosts, Natebige and Professor Mike. We want to welcome you guys into the certification episode of the Legislative Lounge, where today we're going to be going over quite a bit. But the hot topic today is that the certification of the 2024 election of Donald Trump and JD Vance went through without a hiccup. Mike, what is your
What a
first take?
it's absolutely beautiful because, as everybody knows, this is the anniversary of that horrific day, January 6th. What better way to certify Donald Trump than on that day?
It's just I don't even know how you like would it be considered irony or what, like it's just like how is it like on January 6th exactly? It's just that's the way it lined up. It was just perfect and all in all of its sense. But I mean, watching Kamala Harris as she's doing this, like more specifically, not at the end when like she had already gotten past her feelings at the end, but as they're going state by state, it was just hilarious. I watched it live. I don't know if you did, Mike, or not. You probably sleep. I don't know. But
Mm,
man, you could just see it on her face every time they got to like one of the blue wall states, specifically Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Man, you just her demeanor was just like ah. It was so visible. You could see her dying on the inside. It was hilarious.
yeah, I saw the aftermath and the look on her face as she's reading it, and then the uproar of applause, and you could just see her like she didn't want to be there.
No, absolutely not. And no, what was even funnier is that when she announced the electoral college votes for her and then also for Walls, and because they did it separately,
Hmm.
like that all of the Democrats stood up and was clapping for her and Tim Walls, and she was just like, "Really? Like, what are y'all are applauding my loss? Way to go!" It's the funniest stuff ever.
They're trying to show unity.
You know what's funny? Actually, we have the video. Let's watch it real quick. It's only like 2 minutes.
Of the Senate is as follows. The whole number of the electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, the majority is 270. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
I'm sorry, but that's just hilarious. Like they're literally applauding. Hey, we got our ass handed to us, but woo!
Yeah, it was pretty much a Reagan style win. You could tell that America was just fed up.
I'm not even gonna do the Tim Walls one because they actually the applause for Tim Walls was way weaker than that.
Mhm.
Because it's just like it set in and they were like, yeah. Mm. And nobody's ever told me that I'm not petty, but I mean, I kind of own that, so it is what it is. But I just find it hilarious because through the last 4 years, we've dealt with some of the most nonsensical, just idiotic standards by this administration, and now are just like it's like a weight lifted off of everybody. And
Mm.
even the Democrats, there's a lot of Democrats, they absolutely know that there's good things coming. That's why a lot of them are being quiet. That's why you don't hear anything. And I don't know, maybe it's just the skeptical side of mine, but like I just find it weird how easy everything went today. Because right at the
Yeah,
end of that is where she concluded it. So there was literally zero objections, zero look into. They went through the process and boom, it was done, certified. He takes office on the 20th. I don't know.
you know,
It was weird. I don't know.
what's gonna happen is the talking point now is the certification is in. The Democrats know how to concede an election.
Well, I mean, they even I mean, Jeffries, the dollar store Obama, he basically has been saying that every
Oh, there's
single
dollar store Obama.
I saw somebody. There was what's his name? Eagleman, Gunther Engelman or whatever. Every time when I was on Twitter, that's what he used to call him all the time, and I loved it. So I run with it. Just I mean, it's one of those things where you see them just trying to play. Oh, we'll see, we're the good guys. Well, it's like, why wouldn't you let us look into January 6th and all the electoral votes in the
Mhm,
past? Like you can't just sweep that under the rug now, and you know it. That's why you're trying to play like you the good guy, because you know what's gonna happen,
mhm.
right? And I mean that's why you get things like what was it? Donald Trump was called before the sentencing for Judge Merchan this Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of back and forth, and of course, all the Democrat influencers are out there like, "Oh, he's gonna be a convicted felon now." I was like, "I thought he already was."
Yeah, what happened to that? It's like, and what's interesting is people don't understand. They truly don't read, because the decision was made in Merchant's announcement, or Merchan's announcement. It's
Mhm.
an unconditional discharge, which is basically just going through the formal process of ending the case.
Right, exactly. Like, and a lot of people think, "Oh, he's gonna get like probation, or he's gonna have to pay fine." Like, no, he's not. He'd not
Nothing.
get this is literally their process of them saying that they sentenced him, but all they're doing is throwing the case out. That's literally all that's happening. So,
Hmm.
like what we've been telling you Democrats for the last several months, since he was given we're going to word it correctly here because we know DOJ 609. He was rendered a guilty verdict, and then they were told about going to sentencing. We've been telling you guys that he wasn't going to see any time. He wasn't going to have any fines. He wasn't going to be on probation. They're going to go all the way down. And what happens is that the judge acts as the 13th juror, and he's going to throw it out. We've been saying that for months, and here it
Hmm.
is. So come this Friday, yes, next Monday, I'm going to rub y'all's noses in it like a mofo, because I'm petty like that, and I just like saying I told you so. I am that guy
I
because
I
I'm Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
I just I just can't get over the fact that today is January 6th, and Donald Trump was officially certified.
Ugh, like
Like, that is beautiful. That is irony,
it's great.
and all
It
these
just
Democrats have to suck it up.
Mhm. And but that's kind of like where my skeptical side comes in. It's like, what do they got in their back pocket? Because they're not just rolling over, like for years, right? For years, it's not even just the last 4 years; it's the last 8 years. They were like, "Oh, this man is he's a threat to democracy. He's going to destabilize and throw out our constitution." And now all of a sudden, they're just kind of like rolling over and be like, "Yeah, okay." I
What's funny is, leading up to this, the talking point from a big leftist creator, we all know him. He was saying that they were not gonna certify due to the 14th Amendment, Section 3.
bro, like,
That's my
I,
favorite argument from them. I love it so much.
and they wonder why I've dubbed the term "blue anon." Like, that's literally what you guys are. If you're sitting out here trying to say that Donald Trump was not going to be certified because of this or that, because of the 14th Amendment, because of insurrection, all this other stuff, you are absolutely as bad, if not worse, than the QAnon nuns that we make fun of. And that's why I
Mhm.
call you Blue Anon.
Oh, they're much worse. At least there's some, logic to be found with the
Well,
QAnons.
well.
Some logic. Not a lot, some logic.
I could go off on the QAnons just as much as I could the Blue Anons, man. Honestly, those people are just as whacked in the head because, like, I mean, just for a second, for all those people that do believe in the QAnon bullshit, right? Like, let me lay this out for you, right? The whole concept of QAnon is the fact that Donald Trump is still the president and has been the president for the last 4 years, running things behind the scenes. So everything is his fault. Gas prices, housing prices, grocery prices, the issues in Ukraine, the issues in Taiwan, the issues in the Middle East. That's all Donald Trump's fault. If he was the one in power. See how y'all sound stupid?
For anybody that wants to check out how to actually apply Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, you have to pull up the Supreme Court case, US v. Powell, decided in 1871. Don't get it confused with the distillery case, US v. Powell. There's two separate US v. Powell. So look up the one regarding insurrection and how to charge someone, how to actually go through that process. It was actually applicable to the Civil War Confederate generals, so they couldn't hold any offices. But then that was done away with the amnesty bill that Ulysses S. Grant put forward.
Right.
So this is what happens when you actually do your history.
Absolutely. And I'm just so happy that we have a guy that actually wants to do the job now, and somebody that hasn't, taken literally 1/4 of his entire term on vacation. Like, there's a statistic out there that Biden has spent nearly 1/4 of his final year, right? This is just this year. This isn't going into the last 3 years. This just this year. 1/4 of this year alone, he has spent in Delaware, Camp David, or in different vacation spots. So half of the year, 25% of the year, he hasn't even worked. And this isn't talking about the last 3 years. That's just this year.
Yeah, he's
And
been
they
looking
want
like spoiled milk on a beach.
Jesus. Oh,
Have you
Lord.
seen him when he's all laid out?
Man, all I know is that all he's doing is going on vacation, and he's over the last 2-3 weeks they've given another like 10 to 15 billion dollars of aid in some form or fashion to Ukraine. It's like, how are they allowed to still do this? Like, what is it? Just a week ago, right? The U.S. Treasury, Janet Yellen, has announced a disbursement of an additional 3.4 billion in direct budget support to Ukraine. That's just this week. Go last week, there was, I think, either 2 or 3 separate individual disbursements of 2.5 and like 1.7 or something like that.
I think right now Biden's just on the train of I want to burn the whole ship down. They kicked me out, so I'm just gonna take it down with me. And what else is interesting is he gave presidential medals to George Soros.
Bro, I don't even know what the purpose of these presidential citizens medals are anymore. Because, I mean, George Soros, Denzel Washington, you got
Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton, and just like random people. But there is one thing between every single, when you go through the list of all who got it, I don't know, there's like 40 or something. One thing that was in common between all of them, they were all publicly supportive of Kamala Harris and Biden's ticket. And I mean, very vocal. It's like, so is this more of a political medal, or does it actually have some meaning?
Oh, definitely a political medal. I mean, here you go, George Soros. Thank you for always being our major investor.
Like, how are we gonna give a medal to a man that's not like, I don't even, does he even have U.S. citizenship here?
No.
What are we doing? Like, I don't understand that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, it's a U.S. citizen's the presidential medal. It's like, he's not a citizen. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but like, it just didn't make any sense.
Then you got Hillary Clinton, who, like, everybody forgets Benghazi.
Why did she get it though? Like, what? She has been quiet for the last 4 years. She hasn't said nothing.
You know why she's quiet? Because she didn't say anything about Diddy.
But she hasn't done anything either. Like, what did she do to earn it? Like, besides saying, "Hey, I support," Kamala Harris.
She earned it because she got rid of Epstein.
Well, some more good news though. Moving into the new administration, it was confirmed yesterday by a couple different senators that Donald Trump, because of everything that's going on, basically has kind of pushed all the senators to get their
Mhm.
ass in line. Is
Yep.
that every one of his nominations now has enough votes to be pushed right through?
Since we're finally on the podcast on this beautiful January 6th, Mike Johnson, the people want to hear your thoughts.
I mean, when it comes to Mike Johnson, everybody knows how I feel about Mike Johnson. I think that this dude is literally just getting in line because he has to keep his power, to keep his position. He's because the thing about people is that you will see what who they are when they're not required to do something, when they're not pressured to do something. And for the last 14 months, we saw exactly who Mike Johnson was. He's a
Yep.
spineless individual that always caters to trying to help the Democrats in their ridiculous spending bills. I mean, even Donald Trump himself, which is why I'm shocked that he a few days later came out after saying what I'm about to say and endorsed him, but was up visibly and verbally upset about Mike Johnson presenting that CR bill initially of the 1,547 page document. I mean, he literally called Johnson, was like, yo, this ain't it, my guy. So it's like,
Mhm.
I mean, he did that for the last 14 months.
And he was going against Jeffries, right? And
Yeah,
I believe the only reason Johnson won was because of one vote.
two. Two of them flipped. He needed, so technically what it was is, so we have 220 representatives,
Mhm.
right? In the Republicans. 216 of them on the initial vote said yes. There was 4 that said no. However, there was 2 senators then that flipped to during, because they like paused the voting or whatever,
Mhm.
and he actually pulled the 2 senators, or yeah, two of the, not senators, 2 of the representatives aside, and I don't know what was said or what did, but when they came back and resumed the voting, they called for their flip of their vote, which gave him 218. There were still 2
Mhm.
people that voted against him. Well, no, there was one that voted, uh, did decide not to vote, I think, but
Yeah,
the other
there was
one
there
voted
was one that was just present.
right. Yeah, voted present. Yep, which is
Um,
spineless in my opinion.
yeah,
I don't know
like
who it was, but like whoever it was, they can kick rocks too.
I think that if you are there, then you should be forced to vote. Like, what are you doing for your constituents other than just wasting their time?
Right. That's
And
one of the that leads to a larger issue with Congress too, because I got on Senator Cruz's case a couple weeks back because he wasn't there for some important votes. I'm like, what are we paying you for, dude? Like, if you're
mhm,
supposed to be at a vote, you better get your goofy ass there.
yep. And these are the same people that wanted a pay increase.
Like, I'm just, don't even get me started on what's his name, Crenshaw from here. Oh my lord, we've gone into that goober too much. He doesn't deserve any more attention, honestly. But
Uh, there is some legislation being introduced into Texas. Um, if a representative is not doing their job, they can be booted expeditiously.
well, I mean, technically they can now, anyways. People just don't know how. I mean, you do the proper affidavits and get the signatures of the people
Mhm,
that you need, and then you can do it. It's just most people don't know that. But yeah, this piece of legislation, I've heard about it. I haven't read into it too much, so I'll do that for next time since I'm here in
mhm.
Texas. But supposedly it's supposed to be make it even easier. So I'm
Yeah,
like, let's go.
I think Greg Abbott introduced it.
The governor?
Um, no,
Maybe
he's the
he's
one that he posted about it.
oh, okay,
Um,
yeah. So he may be
but,
like a supporter of it, of course.
but let's see, there was something else. Oh yeah, if you've been on Congress.gov, there's like since January 1st, there's been like 200 plus pieces of legislation that have been introduced. Majority of them don't mean anything. There's a couple of spending, um, spending kind of speed bumps for
Mhm.
future spending bills. So those could look good. the text hasn't been released on them just yet.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I have a lot of time at night. I work the
Oh
night
yeah,
shift.
yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, for me personally, this little side note to everything, but like, I'm going through moving and getting ready to go to Arizona, go to Mike's wedding. So I've been busy. I almost forgot about the episode tonight. I'm gonna be straight honest with everybody. So that's why my graphic, my little thumbnail that you guys looking at, it's not up to par as the other ones, but it is what it is. We're here and we love it.
Yep. I am, regardless of the speakership, I am happy that we still have a Republican, even if he is a rhino, as the speaker. I'd rather him than Jeffries. I don't even know who Jeffries was until this vote.
Yeah, he Jeffries is the man that's lost the speakership vote 20 times in a row. That's who he is.
He is the male Kamala Harris.
Bro, like, nah, he's worse than Kamala Harris. At least Kamala Harris has had some success. That man is just bum. Like he lost votes when he was trying to get the nomination. Like he's like when they had the House, he still couldn't win because Nancy Pelosi kept kicking his ass.
Oh God, Nancy.
I'm just, when are we gonna get these old dinosaurs out of there? Honestly, but I don't know. It
Nobody
is what it
wants to. Nobody wants to introduce term limits. Nobody wants
is,
to
right?
introduce an age cap. If there's an age requirement to vote, there should be an age limit on how long you can serve.
You know what? Talking about term limits, actually, there was a post that was put out that Trump was talking about expediting a piece of legislation for term limits that was going to be presented by Republicans
I
in
think
the
I saw
House.
that in a leading report.
So yeah, actually, I think that's where I saw it too, for sure. Because I like that. I like that. I wish I was on. I need to create like just like a faux Twitter, I guess, just so I can use that. Just go to that site. I gotta like Google. How I get their stuff is I go to Google and I just type in leading report and their recent posts come up basically. But yeah,
Yeah. I was told that I'm kind of trending on Twitter right now. Somebody stole one of my videos off of TikTok.
right.
You want to see it?
Yeah, let's show it.
I want to see your reaction. All right. Here we go.
Do you know what else is not in the Constitution?
Real quick, she's a doctor. Continue.
I remember.
Do you know what else is not in the Constitution? Your right to vote. Your right.
Voting, voting, and voting. Remember, she's a doctor.
Your right to marry.
Marriage, marriage, marriage. She's a doctor.
Right to privacy.
Privacy, but she's a doctor.
Your right to a fair trial by your peers.
Fair trial, fair trial, fair trial, fair trial. This is a fucking doctor.
There is also no mention of women or any women's rights in the Constitution.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that the Constitution is not important, but it is outdated.
You have never read it. You're a fucking doctor.
Oh man, like I've seen that video so many times. I remember when you initially made it, but like every time I've seen it, I'm just floored. Like especially the last one. No, there's nothing that's mentioned about the 19th, or I mean women. And I'm like, huh? There's literally a whole amendment just for you.
When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be good."
Bro, sometimes I get jealous and be like, how do you find these? I can't. It's like I want to go at them so bad, but I can't find them.
And
Oh, man.
that person on Twitter stole it, and you know how that goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
Didn't
I
even.
mean that. So he used the one that was with your face, or he just recreated it.
He used my face. Didn't do his own. He just like stole it and posted it on his Twitter or his X.
Did he at least have the one where it had your watermark on it?
No.
Oh God!
I
Like,
commented on it. I was like, "Thank you for sharing."
Oh, that is funny. Oh man, like that
was-
you know, people are lazy, man. Make your own content first of all.
Yeah, but still, like, you know how long it's taken me to get, that video on TikTok alone is over 400,000. You know how many accounts I've been through to try to get a video to blow up like that?
Mm, right. But
Shit,
on a
me and
more on a more serious note, though, I mean, I know everybody has heard about it because it's literally been all around the world. But
Mhm.
everything that was happening with the first few days here in America, um, huge prayers out to the families and friends of those individuals that were unfortunately passed away uh, due to the absolute disgusting nature and behavior of a vile individual. Uh,
Mhm.
in Louisiana, and then I don't believe any injured in Las Vegas, but if there was, definitely prayers out to them. I know there is no casualty. Make sure that there's we have continued prayers for them. So here in America, we do not stand. I don't care if they're I don't care if they're foreign or domestic. Terrorism is not allowed. Terrorism is not accepted in any form fashion. I don't care if it comes from, just an individual that doesn't like the government. I don't care if it's religious based. I don't care. You don't have the right to unalive somebody just because. You just don't.
Mhm. And I know there's a lot of whispers behind the scenes with the QAnons and whatnot. And but the fact of the matter is, this individual, now the investigations for both incidents are ongoing, and I'm sure with the right people elected properly and certified today, that we will see the fruits of that investigation. They will be released, and we'll see the truth of the matter. Um, but the fact that these two were essentially sleeper cells, they do exist. You have individuals that decided to take it upon themselves to cause damage, and the one in Louisiana caused major damage. People lost people lost their lives. People were injured. Families are heartbroken. Families are mourning, and like Nate said, our prayers go out to them. And
Absolutely.
unfortunately, these individuals' lives were taken either by police, like in Louisiana, or suicide, like in Las Vegas. They should have been prosecuted to the full extent of the law. They should have had to face their actions. Instead, now they will face, the ultimate judge.
Mhm. Now, I've looked into both of them a little bit. Like the first one in Louisiana, clear cut, it's a religious based extremist, and there's no, I have no sympathy. I have no sympathy for him. Um, the other one though in Las Vegas, not trying to take anything away from anything, there are some questions I have
Hmm.
looked into. I have questions about that one.
I
Because the FBI claimed that he unalived himself before the explosion. However, I've seen video as the explosion was happening of him moving his head inside of the vehicle. So I don't know. That one I don't believe that they're connected. I really don't. I know there's some conspiracies out there, where people are talking about him, and we might have a conspiracy live because they're always I wouldn't just because of what happened in Louisiana. I don't want to say fun, but they're interesting to look into. Um
Mhm.
and some of them are fun. This one though, because people are unalive, there's nothing fun about it. But if there is some kind of uh, conspiracy behind the government and whatnot. Hopefully, when Cash Patel gets into the FBI and cleans house and everything else with the CIA director, I can't remember who that is, but once we get them in there and they start to clean house, hopefully we can get to the bottom of all this nonsense and see what's going on. Because nowhere in America should you have to be able, be having fun and then in the streets of Louisiana and have to worry about somebody taking your life by just ramming through you because they have some kind of religious beef with individuals.
Yeah, and if anybody is unknown to the religious concept behind that attack in Louisiana, the gentleman was flying an ISIS flag behind his truck, and he drove from Texas to Louisiana. Um, I've looked into it a little bit. There were video recordings that he was making along the way, how he was threatening to end his family's lives, and it's uh it's a
And that
sad
has been
situation.
confirmed by the FBI that it was religious based. That the
Hmm.
flag was an ISIS flag. Like, these are confirmed information. This isn't conspiracy. The FBI, as much as we distrust them, confirmed it with photo evidence and whatnot.
Hmm. But people shouldn't, as sad as it is to say, shouldn't be surprised that there are sleeper cells. You know, millions, millions of people flown across the border. Also, you know, people infiltrating our military. It's been done
Mhm.
before. It happened in Fort Hood years back, and
I
this is
mean,
why
ISIS
it's
and the Taliban, they've literally said that they were going to do it.
mhm,
Like they said, that their motto is the quickest way to destroy a country is within. They literally put out a warning video back around 2001 with saying that we're going to infiltrate your government. We're going to
mhm.
infiltrate your every corner of your country. Like, they are doing it. So people are like, "Oh, well, he's an American citizen." I don't care. He still has the ties to it.
There's plenty of there's actually a situation. I want to say in 20 or is it between 2009 and I want to say 2012. There was a gentleman that had um we didn't know at the time that he had ties to MS-13, but he had made his way into the Marine Corps, got the Marine Corps training, served his time, came out, and then used that tactical training that he got in the Corps and used it for illegal purposes, and actually became a very big problem for police down in LA. So
Hmm.
there's plenty of examples of people infiltrating to take advantage of the training and the tactics and using it for terroristic purposes.
Right. And I mean, there's different. You can also see footage from all over the place, but there was several things going on January 1st and 2nd, all over the country. Those are just the two big things. Like, they found some pipe bombers here in Texas area. They found like a group of religious nuts in New York where I had done a home invasion. There was a mass shooting in Colorado. Like, just nonsense going on all at once, and there was just too many question marks on why it was all happening all at once. I mean, we've been warning that they're going to try and create chaos for Donald Trump before he gets in office, and that, I mean, I'm not saying that that's what those events are, because I mean that stuff happens all the time, but it's just it's whoa, sorry about that. My system was freaking out on me here. But yeah, so moving into the new age, though, like, moving past all that, our thoughts and prayers with the family is hopefully we can get that rectified and figure out what in the world is going on with Cash Patel and all the other people taking over letter agencies. But I'm excited to see what this new regime is going to be able to do real quick. I know
Hmm.
that, you know, borders are, yeah, has said that he's gonna day one, they're gonna start moving people out. So
Yep.
I want to see if they actually
Mexico is going to be working in tandem.
do that.
Yeah,
Right.
Mexico is going to be
And then
working in
also moving
tandem.
it.
They got their what are they called? Centers set up for people that America's sending back over there, whether they are Mexican nationals or not.
Mhm. And I know a lot of people were. I was in a live where they were like, "Oh, Mexico and them, they aren't even playing game with us." Blah blah blah. It's like, it was like 2 days right before that live, because that live was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago, and 2 days right before that live, the governor, or the president of Mexico, came out and said that they're literally setting up 25 different facilities for the intake,
Mhm.
along with Guatemala also setting up, I think, 3 different cities to help take intake people. So it's like these people are coming to the ground because they know that Donald Trump isn't messing around. And like people were trying to say, "Oh, they're not going to play a game. They're going to just have a tariff war." It's like, we'll win that war, guys. We've done it for centuries now,
Yep.
and Donald Trump
Uh,
knows that. That's why he's playing this game.
you know, speaking of war, it reminded me of this post that I responded to on TikTok, and over in the UK, the police chief over there in London said they've been charging a lot of people with online posts that are saying bad things about Parliament and whatnot, and he made the threat saying that they're going to come after Americans, and
So
my first thought was, how'd that work out for you the first time?
be like, I mean, if you're going to do that, bro, that's kind of a statement of war. Because he specifically said 300 million Americans. I'm like, you literally are trying to declare war on America. You tried that twice.
It didn't work
You
out.
failed both times.
Yeah, heavy, heavy, heavy
I mean,
casualties.
and trust, buddy, you lost to a bunch of farmers with pitchforks. What you think you're gonna do to a military that's got an $890 billion budget?
Not just let's just set aside the military real quick. 20 million veterans.
It's probably more
20
than mostly. It's probably all of the UK's population. I don't know.
I'll take my 20 million veterans over your silent guards any day.
For sure. For sure. I find it funny when it's like the whole thing with like Greenland and Denmark and all them puffing their chests up to Donald Trump is like Donald Trump's actually going to Greenland tomorrow. It's like
Oh,
you guys know you
that
go fold. Why you keep trying to puff your chest out?
that reminds me. Some good things are happening. Our our brethren to the north, our Canadian brothers and sisters. Justin Trudeau is resigning. So we should
Mm.
be seeing Canada move in a positive direction after Castro 2.0 leaves.
Look, for the last several months, there has been Canada has had their own MAGA movement on the rage, right? Like they are so sick of everything going, and they're worse than us, guys. Like they are way worse than us. Their gun laws, the way that they interact with pricing, just the way that they operate up there, it's so much worse. Why do you think a lot like it just like everybody commends them for their healthcare system and all? It's like you do know that half the Canadians come to America to get healthcare, right?
Hmm.
Because their system is such crap. Like
Yep.
they don't do anything right up there.
Actually, one of my groomsmen is from Canada. Just got his green card a couple months ago,
There
and
he is
he
in the
is
chat.
so happy. And there he speak of the
There he is.
speak of the devil, and he shows up. Yep. Yeah,
But yeah,
he is stoked to be an American citizen finally.
right. Yeah,
Only
absolutely.
took over 10 grand.
Congratulations to you. It's actually honestly, I'm gonna be honest, that's cheap though. Like I've
Yeah.
heard I've talked to people that it's been 100,000. Like I'm like, how y'all even do that? Like y'all just rich, man? I don't know.
Well, if they're
Talking
coming
about
from
though,
if they're coming from East Asia, they might be.
true, true. But the lady I was talking about was also from Canada too. So
Oh,
and she said she was like 110,000 dollars is what she spent over like, and it took her like 20 years. She said something like that. I was like, what? It's
wow.
crazy.
But we still
Talking
have
about
one of the fastest. We still have one of the fastest immigration processes compared to the rest of the world.
sure. And we have the easiest too. Like it's not just the fastest, it's also the easiest, which is crazy because the average wait time is like 10 years, like Ken was saying.
Mhm.
So
And
I mean,
wh-
talking about
I'm yeah.
healthcare. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
What were you saying? No. I
Uh,
mean, I want you to finish that thought.
I was gonna say when I say fastest, I don't mean you just get to hop over the border.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, people try that anywhere else. Try it anywhere else. See how it goes for you. I would report back to me if you can.
Yeah, go try it in
But
Canada.
hey, oh my God, yeah, yeah. You try and mess with them people at the border of Canada, man. Even the Mexican border, man. Those guys are pretty rough down there too. If you try crossing in front of them, I'm
Yeah,
like,
not
hey,
only you
where's our
not only
people
you
at?
gonna get the government, you won't only get the government, you'll get the cartel too.
For sure.
Go ahead.
Uh, Talking about though, going back to the healthcare situation, everybody. I know you have your qualms with the man himself, but when it comes to healthcare, like I'm excited, and I'll repeatedly say it. I'm excited to see what Robert Kennedy is going to do. I know one of his biggest things is trying to clean up our water, clean up our food,
Mhm.
but his plans to do so are already taking effect. There's a couple cities that have already dedicated to removing fluoride from their tap water. One specifically is Palm Beach City Council voted just a couple days ago to actually start the process of removing it. So that in
Um,
itself, you're going to see you get rid of fluoride, you're going to see a lot of issues go away.
it's funny you mentioned that because I'm just looking at a post from the leading report. Higher fluoride exposure in children is linked to lower IQ levels, CNN reports, acknowledging what
Mhm.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Alex Jones have claimed for years.
Absolutely. There's literally this is what I don't get. This is what I don't get. People are like, trust the experts, trust the experts. Oh, there's doctors saying that there's no link. There's no link. There's thousands of other doctors that have literal studies where they've looked at this and they can confirm it with you know empirical data. And yet you guys still want to ignore it as if it's some kind of conspiracy. It's like these are peer-reviewed documents. And we have they're right on the NIH website. That's what I don't get by these people.
hmm
It's like the
Oh,
the the amount.
for all of you that are sorry, I think we got a delay somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, it's my internet's messing up. That's my bad.
But for all of you that are hearing the news talking about the quademic, do not, do not. I will say it. I will say it on here. Do not go get that bird flu vaccine. There are multiple people losing their lives because of this vaccine. It's been reported. There is no reason to go get that vaccine. No reason to go get any of those vaccines until they go through the actual process of being vetted and tested. They better have decades worth of empirical data to go behind their research.
I just
No reason to get it.
I don't understand how people can trust these people with no information. Like they don't look into it themselves and be like, "Oh, they're the professionals." Like they're not testing it though. You look at the bird flu or look at the COVID vaccine. Look at the animal testing. And this is a you go confirm this right on the NIH studies. Every single animal they tested on, every single one of them died.
hmm
And you want to
That's
put
it.
that in you. You stupid.
That's in that study is in your binder.
It is, yeah, for the COVID one. But Mimi just showed me. Was talking to me about one with the whole new bird flu one because they were
hmm
testing it on ferrets. Every
Actually,
single ferret died.
it's Mimi. It's Mimi that posted that, and I saw it. So thank you, Mimi.
Mhm. Yeah. And for those that don't know, that's my wife. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to see these people that are just like so involved with how much the government is going to tell them what to do, and yet they'll be one of the first individuals. I'm an independent thinker.
Yeah, unless the
Okay.
government tells you what to do. Um,
Right.
but you trust the government, but yet the government officials couldn't even um, properly inject you. You're supposed to aspirate before you inject, and that was one of the primary causes of myocarditis and pericarditis was when they were injecting the COVID vaccines. They were not aspirating, and you were injecting um, air into the bloodstream, which would cause a whole mess of issues. Not to mention, they were hitting they were hitting major blood vessels.
Mhm.
So, but you trust these people. More power to you if you trust these people. If you don't trust them with your money, why would you trust them with your healthcare?
Now I'm reading right now. Oxford COVID vaccine scientists are now developing a bubonic plague vaccine. Like, why? The bubonic plague has not been around for centuries. What are we doing?
You know a vaccine you should uh a stupid people vaccine.
Bro, I'm like, I keep saying the same thing. Like, I'm just floored with the inability for these people just to use common sense and see that the crap that they're saying, it's crap.
Yep. Like, how are
And
you
the
gonna trust these
inability
people with how are you gonna trust these people with your healthcare if they're supporting major companies that are making you fat?
is the inability to really see through the BS that people are telling you that people don't have that ability to do anymore. It's crazy. But I
You
don't
have
know.
all the answers in the palm of your hand. You have a computer. If you have a smartphone, you have a computer in the palm of your hand, and all the answers are right there if you want to live an actual healthy life.
Yeah. So, but the big thing over this next week, obviously the sentencing, obviously Mike's wedding's coming up, so congrats to him, and then also obviously moving into the next week, which on the 20th we typically have our podcast right on Mondays. However, I was hoping to have, and then I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back home soon enough because that's the day I travel back from Mike's wedding. So if I can get back that day, I will hold one myself with the and replay the inauguration or something because I think Mike's gonna be busy that day. But if
Maybe.
I can get back, but for right now, don't expect us to have a podcast that day because we will, everything going on.
If we have a podcast, if we have enough time on that Monday, the 20th, we'll drop a video on both of our individual TikTok pages as well as the Legislative Lounge TikTok page and Facebook, Instagram, and
Yeah,
whatnot.
we'll definitely
Um,
let you guys know for sure.
yeah, super excited for my wedding. Hope you know, the desert flower that I've found. She's amazing. Much better than that sour Georgia peach. Um,
Oh Lord.
so but I'm just joking. Not really. But yeah, I'm so
One last.
excited to have all of my close friends and my best man, you know, that's going to be joining me very soon.
We're gonna have lots of fun, lots of fun. So give lots of love and pray. Congratulations to Mike and Meg. But one last thing that I wanted to talk about, Mike, I don't know if you know about this yet because it just came out a few hours ago, and I think you were probably busy or whatnot, and I didn't send you my video. Um, but everybody's talking about on the 19th, supposedly the kaput, the end, the death, the burial of TikTok here in the United States, right?
Yep.
However, there is a purchase in process. Have you heard
Who's
about it?
purchasing?
Kevin O'Leary. Right?
That's out of
Right?
left field. That's out of
That is
left
out of
field.
I know, and I was like, and it just came out a few hours ago. I guess they've been working on it for the last couple weeks, where he's got several investors, but he'll be the primary one. But it'll allow us because I do believe he has dual citizenship here. Because a lot of people are like, well, he's Canadian. I'm like, yeah, but all of his businesses are done here in America. So technically, he's got to have some kind of visa or something to be able to work here. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, he's in the process, and hopefully they're supposed to be having it done before the 19th. So who knows? We'll probably keep an eye
Hey.
out for that this week. I know a lot of people will be happy, and the thing about it is, that if people don't know Kevin O'Leary is a billionaire. He's the main dude basically on Shark Tank. He's the one that sits. They call him was it Mr.
Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful? Yeah, there we go. And he is a strong supporter, even though he can't vote, because I guess he doesn't. I just looked it up. He doesn't have citizenship here, so he's got to have something else. But he is a strong supporter of Donald Trump. So when it comes to free speech and all that, hopefully we'll get that back on TikTok, man. Yay! So that'll be exciting to see.
I can't wait for the liberal tears.
Yeah. And like I say, this Friday is the 10th, right? Not only is that Donald Trump's sentencing, which is kind of convenient, seeing as he was supposed to go before the Supreme Court and give a case, right, to save TikTok. But TikTok's hearing is also the same time as his hearing before the Supreme Court. So that'll be interesting to see how all that plays out. Yeah.
Coincidence.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Maybe. Well, Donald Trump was afforded the ability to show up virtually for Merchan's sentencing, so maybe that'll end quickly, and he can make a late appearance in the TikTok court.
Well, we'll have to pay attention to that. That's on Friday, everybody. So keep a lookout on that. We definitely have one podcast next Monday at 7 p.m. Central Time, and then the following on the 20th. We'll let you guys know.
Yep. And until next time, thank you for watching the greatest podcast in America. And if you're not following us already, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, while we still have it, because it's undecided, Rumble, Twitch, and Patreon. And have a blessed day.